Hello, everybody, and welcome to our lesson, second lesson in our Green Book, Integers 1, and we're on page 6. So this page is notes, and we're talking about opposites and absolute value. So the symbol for absolute value as you grow older in algebra are two parallel bars like this. And opposites just means opposite sign, and a sign is a plus or minus. Opposite sign means if the number has a plus, the opposite is a minus, and if a number has a minus, the opposite is the plus, okay? We will learn to interpret and evaluate the opposite and absolute value of numbers. So you guys can tell me what is the opposite of up using words? Down, good. What's the opposite of front?
Back.
Good job. Happy.
Not happy.
Sad. Those are opposites. Big. Small. Negative. Positive. Now in math, negative means a number less than 0. That's our symbol for negative. Positive means a number bigger than 0. This is the symbol for positive. Okay. And now we're using the two number lines on this page. Oh, horizontal. This is called horizontal number line. And the vertical. This one is called vertical number line. And we're using those two number lines to circle the bigger number for each pair below. You can kind of look at the number line, or you can already tell which one is bigger. -5 or -10, which one is greater? -5. Why? Why is -5 greater than -10? Tell me. It's closer to 0 on the number line. Good job. Or you can say -10 is more to the left. Does that make sense? Yeah. How about 40 or -50? 40. A positive number is always bigger. 11 or -1? Okay, good. Circle the lesser number. -10 or -20. Which one is smaller, guys? No, is it -10 or -20? Look at the vertical number line. 0, which one is closer to 0? So, but we want the smaller number, -20. So the one that's further away from 0, it's smaller or going down, right? Remember our thermometer? The lower numbers are down. 35 or -45? -12 or 7? Circle the number for each pair below that is farther from 0 on the number line. Farther from 0. Okay, now we're going to stop because I want everybody to tell me, to be able to give me the next answer. So -10 or 20, do not shout out. Aiden, what do you think? Huh? 20? Yep, farther from 0. Abby, 40 or -50? Which is farther from 0? -50, good job. Okay, good. Which number is exactly the same distance from 0 as 5 on the number line? That's a tricky question. Look at the number line up here, the horizontal one. Which number is exactly that same distance from 0 on the number line? Addison? -5. You notice how these two numbers, it's the same. I just want you guys to get used to saying -5. So that number -5 is the same distance. Okay. Everybody ready for the next page? Jocelyn says yes. Everybody? Okay, let's look. These are notes. Let's write that on top. Write a number that represent each situation. Then represent the opposite of the given situation using words and the opposite of the number. Be ready to explain your answers. You're falling 12 feet. The number is -12. Why is it negative? You're going down. Remember the thermometer, go down, the numbers get smaller, right? How about rise 12 feet is the opposite. So what would be the number for that? If you +12. By the way, if there is no symbol in front of the number, it's assumed to be positive. So for positive numbers, we don't always have to have that plus. Does that make sense? Okay. You find $5. Aiden, what do you think is for a number? What would you put here? 5. It's a positive, right? Because you're finding it. You got $5. Okay. What's the opposite? Lose $5. How do you spell lose, guys? Double O or one O? Lose $5?
Isn't it double O like loose?
I think so. I think that's got double O.
Loose.
Lose. For a number, Aiden, how would you write that?
-5.
Good. You gain 4 yards in football. Jocelyn, what would you say here for no 4? If you, what would you say the opposite is? What? I don't know much about football.
Going game.
Do you lose? Do you lose 4 yards?
Lost 5 yards or 4 yards.
And how would that be in a number, Jocelyn? -4. You owe $30. Abby, what would you write here for a number?
-30.
Good. What's the opposite?
Gain.
Good. Somebody gives you 30, right?
I wish.
Or get $30. And Abby, how would you write that in number?
30.
Mm-hmm. Deposit $75 into the bank. Lauren, how would you write that in numbers? Yep. And what's the opposite, Lauren? Deposit money. You withdraw. It's kind of hard because it's banking stuff and you haven't banked. Withdraw 75. So you take that out of your bank. So what would that be in numbers, Lauren? Yep. So those are all opposites. You see, one positive, one negative. Okay. So now we have to draw these on the number line. From 0, a football player gains 10 yards and then he loses 10 yards. So you start at 0. Which direction shall I go? To the left or to the right?
Right.
Gaining, right? To the right. So it's +10, right? 1, do we need to write all the numbers? No, we can just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So he goes from here to here, gains 10 yards, and then what happens? So go up a little and go back. Just a little bit and draw an arrow. Do you see how I did that? To show 2 lines, you got to go up a little bit, yeah? So first he gains, so that's +10 and then -10, and he's back at 0. I heard Lauren say that. That's a good observation. So he gained nothing, right? That's what opposites do. Yeah. From 0, you take 8 steps backward and then 8 steps forward. Addison, to the left or to the right?
So, to the left.
Yep. Backward is 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So to here, draw the line. And then forward from there. From here, he goes forward 8. So where does he end up? Back at 0. So this is a -8 or a -8. And then +8. Back at 0. Now we have to describe the end result. So first, this number line helps us kind of visualize what we're supposed to do. A bird falls 20 feet and then rises 20 feet. So where is he at?
0.
Yep, where he started, right? He is back where he started.
So 0 feet.
I don't know if there's a 0 coming into this, if that makes sense. Nothing changed.
So he could have been at 40.
Yeah.
Falls 20 feet.
Yeah.
And rose back up 20
Yeah,
feet.
so 0, if he was at 0 feet, how are you at 0 feet and then would you be able to fall down 20 feet? What would that 0 feet look like?
The ground. The ground.
Yeah, the ground is 0, but then how do you fall down 20 feet?
There was a ditch or something.
Like a ditch?
And it goes
Yeah,
20
that would
feet
be
in.
the only thing, that there was a ditch, right?
Or some type of bird that flew about 20 feet.
And then he comes back up and he's back at 0. He is back where he started. Nothing changed. We're not going to mention the 0 because we have to use our imagination where he would go if he falls further than the ground. But that's about the only idea I have. You find $40 and then you lose $40. You're back to $0, right? Now we can use the 0.
Well, not technically, because what if you had 120 and you gained 40? And then you
Exactly. So how about you are back where you started?
lost, or nothing changed.
Yeah.
Nothing changed.
And if you started out with 0, you're back at 0.
That really sucks. Ooh, $40. Which could mean you found $40. It's true. Or you found it. You found the $40, put that in your bank account, but then took out a different $40. Or you found it.
And then you draw, and then someone,
Okay, so that was page 7. So we're done, right? Everybody has their notes. If you're falling behind, you can stop and just slow down and watch the video. Okay, so we're now on page 8. So this is also notes. Introduction to integers. Now we're talking about absolute value, which has those 2 bars that tell you that. Your teacher will discuss the definition and notation of absolute value of a number. Remember the first page where you had to write all your definitions? Let's look that up. The absolute value, what does it say? Is the distance to 0 on the number line. The answer is always positive. How come it can't be a negative? The absolute value has to be positive. Why is that? Have you ever heard of a negative distance?
A negative distance.
Right, so I'll say it again. The absolute value is the distance of a number to 0 on the number line. It is always positive. And now my question is, why is it always positive? And have you ever, do you know of any distance that it would be a negative number?
No.
Can you drive -3 miles? Abby says no. Can you walk -50 steps? Unless you walk backward, but I'm talking about normal movement. No, so the distance is always positive. Well, that's why the absolute value is positive, always, because it's a distance to zero on the number line. Does everybody understand that, what I'm saying? Yeah, let's go back to that page. So here's the fact: distance and absolute value are always greater than or equal to zero, which is another word for positive. Label the vertical number line to the, this is the vertical right here. I'll put vertical on top, so you get familiar with that word. This is our vertical. Label the vertical number line to the right to show locations from 100 meters below sea level, which is our negative 100. There's the sea level. This is usually zero. Sea level is usually zero. If you live right by the beach, your elevation is very close to zero. We are 4,000 feet up in Pine Valley. That's compared to the sea level. So when you talk about elevation, the sea level is where it starts. You move up into the mountains, you go up in the numbers, positive numbers, you dive down into the ocean below sea level, your numbers become negative. Does that make sense? Yeah, minus. Okay, so let's label our number line. We want to start at 0 and we want to go up to 100. So what shall I jump by? What are my numbers, do you think? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So this is 100 above sea level. And then we also want to know 100 below sea level. So we're going down into our negatives. So this right here, look at, that's where the ocean meets, is at 0. So next time you stick your toe into the waves at the beach, remember that's where your 0 level starts. Yeah, as soon as you move up the beach, the slope of the beach, your elevation becomes positive and higher. Does anybody know the deepest part of the ocean and how deep is it?
I think the deepest part of the ocean is one of the trenches. Like
Yep.
Mariana Trench.
Yep, good job. And I don't know how deep it is. Let's say oh my gosh, it's very, very deep. It's probably 15,000 feet, maybe. I'm not sure. So then we have to Google that. And so that would be a negative number, the lowest part of the ocean, negative 15,000. Do you know where the Titanic is buried on the ocean floor, how deep it is? I think it's like 2 miles down.
Oh yeah, 2 miles deep.
That in on the ocean floor, that would be a negative number. Okay. But I'm really impressed, Addison, the trench, you're right. It is called the Mariana Trench. We're gonna Google that afterwards. I wanna know that. Okay, now we have to put in the numbers. A pigeon, everybody pay attention over here. Complete the table. A pigeon is 10 meters above sea level. So where's the pigeon? Pigeon, let's put a P here. Pigeon is 10 positive. So the absolute value of 10 is how much? What's the distance to 0? 10. So the absolute value, the distance to 0 is simply 10 meters. Okay. A dolphin. Is the dolphin above sea level or below sea level?
It says above. Yeah.
It says location relative to sea level. Would the dolphin be up here or down here?
Well, it says there's 20 right there, but from
Let's not worry what it says. I'm asking you, is the dolphin above the water or below the water?
below.
Below. So our numbers are going to be negative, right? So the location relative to sea level is negative 20 meters. What's the distance to 0? 20, that's what this number is. So here's the dolphin, put a D, negative 20. So now what is the absolute value of negative 20?
20.
Positive 20, because it's the distance to 0. Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah.
Kind of. Negative 60. They have you guessing what animal could be down here at negative 60 feet.
Wow. No. whales are-
Oh, wait, they have a choice up here. Yeah, it's the whale.
It's a whale.
Yes.
Wow.
A whale. What's the distance to 0?
Lauren's going up
What's the absolute value of negative 60 then?
60.
60.
That would make it 60.
So 55 meters, what animal is that? A crow, up above, right? So right here is the crow, 55 meters above sea level. Is it a positive number or a negative number? Positive. It's above, right? It's up here flying in the air. Oh, it's 55. Bless you. 55. So here's the part that's new to you. The absolute value of 55 is, the absolute value of 55 is how much?
55.
55. It's always positive. 20. What's 20? A dolphin? Oh, a gull. Yep. What's the distance to 0? 20 meters. So what's our absolute value of 20 equals 20? And the swimmer,
He's at sea level, so 0.
okay, the swimmer is at 0.
So 0 is equal to 0. 0 meter, 0 meter.
The absolute value of 0 is still 0.
Yeah.
Okay. On the number line, find the crow and the whale. Where's the whale? Oh, the whale is down here, negative 60. And the crow is above, is up here, 55, right? So that's 55 and negative 60. Which one is at a higher elevation relative to sea level?
And the crow.
The crow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's up. Wait. Oh, the crow is 55, but wait, the whale is negative 60.
But it's saying
Higher elevation. There's another reading exercise. Which one is at a higher elevation? The crow. Which one is farther from 0 on the number line?
crow. Whale.
The whale. 60. Here comes our symbols, right? Do you remember which one is this? What's this symbol called? What does that indicate? Greater than or less than? Greater. And this one is less than, because you can write the word less inside. That's kind of a good way to remember.
Okay, well, if you point it, can't you point less at 60 or and greater at 50?
We have to come up with a symbol for this space right here.
Well, can't you point less at minus 60, but also point the greater sign?
I'm not quite sure what you're saying, Addison.
No.
Okay, here's the question. The absolute value of 55 and the absolute value of 60. Which is the smaller number? No, because what is the absolute value of negative 60? 60, right? And what's the absolute value of 55? So what symbol are we going to insert? Less than or greater than? 55 is less than 60. It's kind of tricky. You have to think now, you're not talking about negative 60. This number here is positive 60. because it's the absolute value. Okay. Let's do another one. On the number line, find the dolphin and the gull. Dolphin at -20 and the gull is at +20. Which one is at a higher elevation relative to sea level?
Go.
The gull, because it's positive, it's up above, right? Which one is further from 0 on the number line?
They're equal.
They are the same or equal. Write symbol greater than, less than, or equal in the blank to mark the statement true. Absolute value of 20, absolute value of -20. What's the symbol?
Equal.
They're equal. Because remember, this is not -20. It's the distance to 0, which is 20. So you have to kind of think that way. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, everybody done? And then the next page is homework. This is page 9. And your job is to finish that. And I believe the next one is our 3rd lesson. Yep.
Are we doing that today as well?
No. So I'm going to stop and